This here is the updated Cupra Formentor, and it's a very significant car for the brand because more than every second Cupra that is sold is a Formentor, and now it will be even soon maybe important in the Northern American market because Cupra has announced they will also join the market right there. Maybe with a successor of this one, it's not quite clear yet. Will not happen tomorrow, but in a couple of years. But today it's all about the Formentor facelift, their most important car at this moment. And in the front they have changed it here to a more Sharknose style in the top part. Also different lower grille, updated lamps here with this new signature option. You can also get a matrix LED now. The logo here in a central style has always been some kind of a tribal style definitely. And it's also a very new matte color. You can also hear that, and it's called Century Bronze Matte. In the side profile, wheels, either 18 or 19 inch. These are the bigger 19-inch wheels. And the length here is 4.45 meters, and it's a little bit longer than the VW T-Roc, which sits on the very same platform. This is, so to speak, the evil twin of the T-Roc. You can see in the side profile it also has stronger hips here. That's where they all put their design language in to be a little bit more dramatic actually. Option, you can get the DCC, that's their adaptive suspension from the Volkswagen Corporation, and it does a good job. So if you want both comfort and sportiness, that's the suspension then to go for, even though it's always an extra price. Then in the rear part, updated here with the facelift, the Illuminated logo in the rear, that looks really cool, I think. Yeah, I love that styling. And once again, also this updated style we've already seen in the front with the lamps in this 3-dot design right here. And the brand itself, with all the design, it works very well, especially, for example, in Germany, was also the market where the Formentor is sold most. And, you know, it always means something when a car is sold that much actually in Germany as well. The Cupra badging here also in this copper look in the rear. So copper and bronze has always been a design scheme with Cupra. And since we have this new 3-dot face here in the front, you can see also the turning indicators or hazard lights are replacing the daytime running light. That looks pretty cool, doesn't it? Anyone Triforce Zelda, by the way? And in the rear with the matrix LED, you also have these cascading turning indicators. So light signature-wise, I think they have done a very good job. Yeah, even making some serious competition to Audi, because, you know, Audi recently has gone like, hey, we are like the light signature kings, and when we do a facelift, we do some light signature changes and animation and stuff. Yeah, Cupra definitely went into this direction. Carbon fiber mirror caps here, by the way. You can also get us, yeah, really fitting to that color. And then there's the key fob, standard we know, also like from the Golf and the Leon and so on. But then you here have the copper Cupra badge. And door closing sound. Yeah, it's very solid, like that. Let's get to the interior right here. So at the inside of the doors here, this is a structure, and it's, you can also press it in, so it's somewhat soft touch, I would say. And then this also new is a new Sennheiser sound system available. So we're going to test it later on. This is also a little bit softer than for your elbow. However, the door pockets here on the inside, they are actually hard pack only. And then let's take a look here. What I always find quite nice is that they add a little bit more joy to the interior, like here the copper elements around the buttons on the steering wheel. These buttons are always for the performance versions, like the VZ models. Left side for the Cupra mode, for that sporty sport mode, and the right side to start and stop the engine. And the rest of the buttons on the steering wheel are also still manual, so you can really press and feel that. Here, for example, also for the volume. As for the seats, they are base seats with fabric. These are the normal bucket seats, so it means you have this integrated head restraint. This at the moment the animal skin spec. However, we filmed them also for you. The base would be microfiber, and these are also way to go because the animal skin surface is a little bit stiffer here and it also gets hotter in summertime. And of course, the microfiber is the animal-friendly version. And on top of that, they are also now the cup bucket seats. They're even more extreme, a little bit lower, a little bit slimmer. If you want it even sportier, and they also come with microfiber, so you can choose from that. With 189, 6'2", still have some head here above my head, and this is also the one with the panoramic roof. And wow, it's really large, and the good thing is it's also still a panoramic roof you can actually open. not with my least favorite sliders here, but it is large considering it's not such a long vehicle. It has really a large panoramic roof and open or close it. And then there's also a complete shade here. You can activate on the second slider next to that one. If it's like a really hot day, you could also close that shade. Steering wheel up and down, in and out. Yeah, and it makes also a good impression here, for example, with the shifting pedals you can also use. More upgrades here in the interior because you get now a larger infotainment screen, 13-inch, and it also has these illuminated sliders on the lower part. Yes, real things to turn and so on would be better, but at least you can slide or press them like this and not only in the screen then. So yeah, it's maybe like a compromise, but yeah, okay, let's take it that way. Here, when you click Drive Profile, you can switch Comfort, Performance, Cupra and Individual. And this vehicle here is equipped with the DCC because you can also here individually rule it in the infotainment system, sportier and more comfortable. However, at the steering wheel with the Cupra button, then you immediately either, you can switch through the different modes with the one click, or when you, for example, in comfort and then hold the Cupra button, then you immediately switch directly to the Cupra mode, the sportiest mode. I always like a setting where I put the suspension all the way to comfort, but the steering feedback, for example, to a little bit stiffer. That's a cool thing, actually. Then in the lower part here, two USB-C chargers in the front, and then also an inductive charging pad. But what I'm really interested in now is, are there cooling holes? Is it like anyway cooled? Yes, there are cooling holes, so the smartphone then also does not overheat. Here you can also put the key there. It's like almost the form of the key. Integrated shifting lever. This is also a cleaner atmosphere than DSG, dual clutch transmission. Cup holders are not really adaptive, but you have two different sizes. And then this armrest here is well attached, some leatherette on top and some more space underneath. And what I also would like to show you is on the front dashboard right here, you have this structure like this. This really looks and feels really nice. I like that. And on top of that, you also have contrast stitches, and also then here, this is soft touch. So yeah, they try to be a little bit more upmarket. They don't consider themselves as premium, not like Audi, BMW, Mercedes competitors, but something like in between, for example, like a VW and the Audi, like in between and more like, hey, we're a little bit sportier, more, cool and stuff. Now I connected my iPhone to Apple CarPlay here, wireless. So wired or wireless, you can choose that, and with auto also possible. And this 12-speaker new Sennheiser system has a good surround sound actually. It's kind of bass intensive, so even if you have set the equalizer very straight, it has a very rich bass actually. And if you use this Cupra button here, you also get a feedback then directly in the digital instruments here on the left side. There it also shows then the different driving modes. And I like this visualization here with the big RPM meter. Rear seating here, as I would be driving, there's still some legroom left, so actually quite good usage of space. And this is also what makes this vehicle so popular. It's not too long, but still has a good interior space actually. Can you sit with 5 people here in the rear? Is that possible? Yeah, for short ways it is actually. The outside seats are of course a little bit softer. There is a middle tunnel here, and then you have 2 USB-C chargers here now in the update. Also a climate unit when the car is fully running actually. And in the middle part, slide this down, standard cup holders, but they are not adaptive though. This would be a ski hatch also to load things through. Child seats here, Isofix on the outside. You have to, find them in there. Yeah, probably this is like a pre-production standpoint still, where it's not really opened yet. Interesting, haven't seen that yet. And then here the rear doors. These are, however, all the way hardpack at the top. And headroom here in the rear with 189, 6 for 2. There's still some headroom left, so once again, good usage of space. If you, by the way, wonder about some strange lighting here in this studio, manufacturers tend to put some extra lights like an orange or reddish light. So I look somehow red or orange here, my fingers or my head sometimes, because I think it looks cool when the car looks cool. But viewers usually want to see how the car looks for real. That's why we prefer outside shootings or inside studios where they have soft, realistic lighting Yeah, so there's always like this marketing versus realism, reality trade-off, and we always try to push for reality. Look at these floor mats here, by the way, with the Cupra logo, and then here also with this carbon fiber styling, I would call it that way. It's really nice to add some more spice to the vehicle, both in the front and also in the rear. Nice detail, by the way, here at the rear light, the small Formentor lettering. And look also how it is in these layers here, the rear lamps. I love these details, actually. Do you as well? Tell me in the comments. Then, electric hatch we have here. Let's take the measures. So, you see it's actually quite well usable. The length is about 82 centimeters, 32 inches. The width here is a good meter or 40 inches. And as for the height, you can see here you have this trunk cover, but you can also easily remove that. So, there we go. Interesting. That's then the full setup, and I always like to check out the height as well. Here we have 70 centimeters or 27 inches. To fold the seats, head restraints in, and then you can grab around, especially easily when the cover is out. When the cover is in, it's of course a little bit tougher, and then you have this full setup right here. Underneath, there's also still some space. However, this is the plug-in hybrid version. That's why you have the high voltage battery underneath. In a non-plug-in hybrid version, you would have more space than underneath here, but I think still a good compromise. Under the hood, really interesting what happened here. There are major upgrades to come. No gas rod here, however. And what you can see here is the new plug-in hybrid, the 1.5 TSI plug-in hybrid, upgraded. Now 204 horsepower or 272 horsepower. And the battery upgrade is now at 20 kilowatt hours net, this battery. So real range without 80 kilometers, 50 miles. And either as 204 horsepower or in the performance version, the VZ 272 horsepower. That's the one you see here as well, front wheel drive. Then you also get an entry-level engine, like 1.5 TSI, and also an entry-level diesel, 2-liter TDI. And more performance-oriented, the 2-liter TSI, then with 265 horsepower, front-wheel drive. Or now also all-wheel drive, 333 horsepower, the most powerful one. That one then has all-wheel drive. Also, the rear axle is getting connected. And it also receives a torque split at the rear axle that you can get more torque on the curved outer wheel, like we know from the Golf R or now also in the Audi S3, Audi RS3 and so on. And these top performance models, so the 2-liter TDIs and also the 272 horsepower plug-in hybrid are called VZ, or like the Spanish say like BZ, because they pronounce the V as a B. And it's called the Veloz, and it means something like quick and rapid. But now it gets even more interesting, or maybe even confusing. This one here, the top plug-in hybrid model, is a VZ, as well as both of the 2-liter TSI models. They are also the VZ, but only the top version, the 333 horsepower version, also gets a VZ badge in the rear. Yeah, just to tell you more, like this is the top performance model of the performance models. And if you now ask yourself, wait a minute, why is Thomas talking about a new performance model at 333 horsepower for the 2-liter TSI? What about the VZ5? There was this 5-cylinder taken from Audi that was the top performance model so far. It will not be released for the facelift model yet. At this moment, it's undecided if they will do it or not, so we have to wait for that decision. The thing is, that one was almost at 80,000 euros, and of course, there's a very limited target group for that vehicle. So it always the question is if it makes sense on an economic reason behind it. Yeah, let's see about that. We will keep you updated. When you open the vehicle, there we go. Ooh. There's a nice light show also for the rear. If you've seen it, how the logo comes alive, and also the rear lamps on the outside. Yeah, it's a cool feature. The vehicle we have here standing, by the way, you could have guessed that, is the one that is equipped with the new optional Matrix LED. Here, by the way, you can see this was this welcoming signature, like this, twinkling eyes a little bit. And pricing-wise, the real prices are not yet out when we film this review. However, if you take a look at the existing price, this is always around 40,000 euros in the entry price. But if you spec it a little bit, or maybe go for plug-in hybrid, 50,000 euros is realistic. Yes, and the VZ5 before, it was way off the scale. So then the price will be some 50,000 plus also for the performance models. You can, spec it to a quite high price already. But still at the moment, they are actually on the road to success. They're even having sales in Australia. And as I said initially, soon also to the Northern American market, probably with an electric successor of this one, and also with a bigger EV SUV. Because the Cupra Tavascan, this is the next upcoming EV, this one is built in the plant in China and will therefore not being sold in the US. You can check out the first review of the Tavascan right now here or check out more Cupra content.